The sharp crack of a slap echoed through the marble-floored lobby of Monarch Financial Bank. "I've already called the police. We don't serve your kind here," Preston Reed barked, his voice ringing off the high ceilings. Every head turned. Transactions halted mid-process. Conversations died. Zora Timberlake stood motionless, her cheek stinging, a vivid red handprint blooming against her skin. Her eyes, calm and unwavering, locked onto the man who had just struck her. Preston Reed, the bank's customer service manager, his name tag gleaming beneath sterile fluorescent lights. Security guards converged. Not on Preston, but on her. "You're under arrest, ma'am," one announced. Phones emerged from pockets and purses, recording yet another viral moment of American injustice. Some onlookers appeared uncomfortable, others curious. Most simply stared, silent and still. But Zora didn't shrink. She adjusted the cardigan draped over her simple blouse and spoke with a voice that carried the quiet, unshakable authority of a woman who knew precisely who she was. "I believe there's been a misunderstanding," she said evenly. At 45, Zora Timberlake was the definition of self-made. Daughter of a hospital janitor and a public school teacher, she had worked 3 jobs to put herself through college, earned her MBA while raising her son alone after her husband's untimely death, and transformed a one-room consulting firm into a financial empire. Timberlake Financial now managed over $9 billion in assets. Her face had graced the covers of Forbes and Black Enterprise. Her name adorned donor walls at universities and hospitals. Her signature moved money that built communities. But none of that was visible today. Gone were the designer suits and signature jewelry. Today, she wore off-the-rack slacks and a cardigan. She looked like any middle-class black woman seeking banking services, which was precisely the point. 3 weeks earlier, Zora had quietly acquired Monarch Financial Bank in an undisclosed deal. The public announcement was scheduled for next month, after she completed an undercover audit of its culture. She wasn't just buying a bank. She was confronting a legacy. 30 years earlier, her grandmother, Eloise Jenkins, had entered this very branch seeking a modest home loan. Perfect credit, reliable income. But she was denied. The reason? A vague explanation about neighborhood qualifications. It was a turning point that forced her grandmother to remain in rental housing, unable to build generational wealth. "These things don't show up on balance sheets," Zora had explained to her executive team. "You can't fix what you don't understand from the ground up." Her team had protested. Too risky. Too unkonventional. What if she was recognized? But Zora had been resolute. "Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is be underestimated," she told her son the night before her 3rd visit. "Your great-grandmother couldn't change the system from the outside. But I can." That first visit had been textbook discrimination. She'd entered the lobby at 10:17 a.m., dressed plainly, presenting as a working professional. She joined the queue and watched as white customers were whisked away for private consultations. When it was her turn, she approached the teller, a young man named Aiden, who looked startled. "I'd like to open a checking and savings account," she said politely, "and I'd like to ask about your investment services." He handed her a brochure and suggested she use the ATM or the online portal. Convenient, of course. When she insisted on speaking with a banker, he hesitated and made a call. "They're all with clients," he said. "Would you prefer online services?" Moments later, a white woman walked in, similarly dressed. Preston Reed immediately stood to welcome her. "Good morning. Looking to open an account?" "I'd be happy to assist personally," Zora observed silently. "I'll wait," she said softly to Aiden. Then Preston approached. "I understand you're new to Monarch," he said. "Without an existing relationship, we have strict compliance protocols. Additional ID, proof of address." Zora provided her license, social security card, and a utility bill, more than enough for a standard account. Still, Preston scrutinized her ID like it might be fake. "I see you're self-employed," he said, suspicion laced in his tone. "We'll need tax returns, business registration." These demands hadn't been made of the white customer before her. Zora thanked them and left. The next day she returned prepared. She brought every document imaginable: driver's license, passport, utility bills, tax returns, business registration, bank statements. More than enough. At the information desk, she stated confidently, "I have an appointment." There was no appointment, but the receptionist, flustered by her professional poise, picked up the phone. Zora noticed the branch manager, Bryson Walsh, observing from his office. Preston Reed approached quickly. "This is the individual I mentioned yesterday," he said to Walsh. Zora laid out her paperwork. Walsh and Preston exchanged glances, their subtle discomfort apparent. After a pause, Walsh relented. "Vivian can assist you," he said, gesturing toward a nearby banker. Zora smiled, thanked him. Vivian glanced anxiously at Preston, who stood watching closely. Our business lending specialists are with clients right now. You can leave your materials, and someone will get back to you. Just then, the front door swung open. A white man in business casual attire entered. Preston moved quickly. Mr. Davidson. Great to see you. Bryson's ready for your loan consultation right now. The disparity couldn't have been clearer. Immediate service for one client, generic delays for another. I notice your specialists are available for some clients, Zora said, voice calm but amplified enough for nearby customers to hear. I'm happy to wait if Mr. Walsh will be available after this meeting. Vivian's face stiffened. I'll check on that, she muttered, retreating. As she walked away, Zora overheard low voices behind the customer service desk. Third day in a row. Getting tired of this. They never know their place. Always want special treatment. Zora Rose. She approached the desk where Preston and two other employees stood mid-conversation. Their surprise betrayed guilt. Excuse me, she said, her voice steady but firm. I overheard your comments. Could you clarify which of Monarch Financial's policies support treating clients differently based on race? Silence fell over the lobby. Customers looked up. Phones discreetly began recording. Preston's face flushed crimson. I don't know what you think you heard, but you're mistaken. Now, if you're not here for legitimate business. I've been here 3 times, trying to open accounts and inquire about services, Zora interrupted. Each time, I've been treated differently, delayed, dismissed and now, subjected to racial slurs. You're causing a disturbance, Preston snapped. You need to leave, or I'll call security. Please do, Zora said. I'd like them to witness how Monarch Financial treats its black clients. Preston stepped toward her, eyes blazing. You don't belong here, he shouted, and then slapped her. Gasps erupted. Phones rose higher. The crack of the slap echoed through the marble atrium. Behind the teller window, Aiden reached for his phone, trembling. I've already called the police, Preston barked. We don't serve your kind here. They'll arrest and remove you. Zora stood still, her hand at her cheek, eyes locked on Preston. Sirens wailed outside. Red and blue lights danced on the glass. 3 officers entered, led by a seasoned white officer, his hand resting near his weapon. Preston stepped forward quickly. Officer, thank you. This woman was creating a disturbance and became physically aggressive. We had to restrain her. A lie. Bold. Flagrant. The officer nodded, already shifting his stance toward Zora. Ma'am, I need you to put your hands where I can see them. Zora did as asked. I was assaulted, she said clearly. It's all on your security cameras. Many customers recorded it too. I ask that you review the evidence. Preston interrupted. We can't just hand over footage. We can, Bryson Walsh said suddenly, stepping from his office, sensing the tide turning. Officers, I'll take you to our security terminal. The lead officer hesitated now, his stance softening. Ma'am, he said, I still need you to move to a separate area while we sort this out. I understand, Zora replied. But before I do, I need to make one phone call. It will clarify the situation. She was given permission, with visible reluctance. Zora dialed. Miss Timberlake, said a crisp female voice on speaker, echoing through the lobby. Gasps followed. Timberlake? Not Jenkins. Preston's brow furrowed. Zora ended the call, returned her phone to her purse, and looked up with calm command. Who exactly are you? Preston demanded. Zora met his eye. The use of his name, which he had never given her, landed like a hammer. Preston staggered backward, visibly shaken. Then, the glass doors of Monarch Financial swung open once more, and everything changed. Zora Timberlake stepped into Monarch Financial for the 3rd time, dressed once again as an ordinary black customer in worn but tidy clothes. Her expression was calm, but her eyes burned with righteous fire. Today, she wasn't just gathering data, she was setting the stage for the truth. As she waited in the lobby, she noted the subtle shift in the room's energy. The front desk receptionist stiffened. A security guard trailed her from the moment she stepped inside. But Zora had timed this visit carefully. Dozens of customers were present, and among them stood community activists who had long suspected the bank of discriminatory practices. When Zora requested a consultation for a small business loan, the response was swift and brutal. You don't meet our profile criteria, the banker sneered, barely glancing at her paperwork. Maybe you should try a community lender or a credit union. Zora held her composure. On what basis am I being denied? You haven't even reviewed my application. The banker turned away. I don't have to explain myself to you. Moments later, security approached. Ma'am, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're disrupting operations. No, Zora said loudly, turning to address the room. What's disrupting your operations is your racism. And I'm not leaving, not this time.
Tension snapped like a vire. Phones came out.
Bystanders began recording. A customer shouted, "She hasn't done anything wrong." Another chimed in, "This is why I stopped coming here." Zora pulled a document from her purse, a shareholder letter signed with her full name.
I'm Zora Timberlake.
I am the majority owner of Monarch Financial, and I've spent the last 6 months investigating how this institution treats its black and brown customers. You just tried to remove your own CEO for being black. The room fell into stunned silence. Police arrived, but by then, the tide had turned. Dozens of customers stood between Zora and the officers. "You're not arresting her," one said firmly.
We have it all on video.
Zora locked eyes with the branch manager, who had emerged pale and silent. "You'll be hearing from my legal team. Effective immediately, this branch is closed for audit. And you," she pointed to the banker who denied her, "are terminated."
Guys, if you like the story, then click the subscribe button and also like and share the video. Thanks.